If you own a plumbing, HVAC, or roofing company and your business isn't showing up in the top 3 spots on Google Maps, you're literally watching your competitors take calls that should be yours. Most business owners think ranking on Google takes 6 to 12 months. And yeah, getting to the absolute top does take time in competitive markets. But what if I told you could see real movement in 30 days? Not just movement, actual phone calls and leads coming from Google. Well, today, I'm going to show you the exact 30-day roadmap that we use to get home service companies ranking higher on Google, getting more phone calls, and booking more jobs. The cool thing is, it's not even about gaming the system. It's just about doing the right things that Google rewards at the right time with the right speed. Let's get into it. It is important to set realistic expectations here. If you're an HVAC company in Dallas-Fort Worth metro area and you have very little reviews, you aren't going to see the best results in just 30 days. Let's just be honest here. In the most competitive markets, if you do all the right work in 30 days, you can see improvements and more phone calls. And if you're in markets with medium or low competition, in just 30 days, you can start ranking at the top 3 of Google and getting all the jobs that your competitors were previously claiming. That said, I do want to stress the consistency and why it is so important. See, if you're company A and you just try this for 30 days and you say it doesn't work and you got 2 extra phone calls, you're not going to get anywhere. If you're company B and you try this for 30 days, you see a little bit of an improvement and you commit to doing it for 6 to 12 months, you are going to rank in the top 3 of Google, almost guaranteed. See, the first 30 days are essentially the foundation that sets everything else in the future in motion. Just so you understand the importance of this, if I look up plumber near me, I'm obviously in New Orleans, Louisiana, you can see the top 3 plumbers show up right here. And these plumbers are ranking for a blend of how close they are to me, how good their trust profile or reviews and links are, and then also how relevant are their profiles, how much do they match my search. And so if you can imagine, if your business is not in this top 3 section, you are going to miss out on about 75% of all the calls. You see, studies show that about 70 to 75%, depending on the search, click on this top 3 map pack section, and only 5% click more businesses to scroll down the list. This is absolutely crucial because these websites only get about 15% of the clicks. And so right here, if you're not in this top 3 map pack, you are missing out on phone calls. So week 1, let's build the foundation. A lot of businesses skip the fundamentals on their profile and their website in order to rank on Google. If you skip the basics and wonder why you're not ranking, it's totally your fault. Google rewards complete Google business profiles and complete websites, and it actually punishes incomplete ones. These fundamentals are exactly where you separate yourself from about 90% of your competition. So let's talk about what a good Google business profile looks like and how we can fully fill it out to be as complete as possible. So here's an example of Nadel's HVAC company. It's an HVAC company here in New Orleans. And what we're going to do is just take a look at pretty much the entire profile. I'm going to walk you through exactly why it's super dialed in. So first things first, they have likely a DBA for the ability to add air conditioning, plumbing, and electrical in their page title or in their Google business profile title. So their company might be Nadel's HVAC or Nadel's, Service Co. or whatever. They probably got a DBA or doing business as, otherwise known as a fictitious name, in order to add this onto their Google business profile. The reason you need one is because Google will often suspend your profile or just take down the new name that you add if you try to stuff these sort of keywords in here. With a DBA, you're able to actually show Google, hey, this is a real legitimate business name that we operate under, therefore we deserve to have it on our profile. The next section is their reviews, which are really incredible. And as you can see, even if you don't know anything about ranking on Google, I'm sure you're aware that the companies with the most and best reviews typically show up higher. The reason for this is Google wants to show its users or its searchers the most trustworthy businesses so that they have the best chance at helping the search, at being a good search engine. And one of the easiest ways to show Google and kind of prove to Google that you're a trustworthy and reputable business is having a bunch of really good Google reviews. So as you can see, there's a couple main factors that matter with reviews. The first is the actual star rating or the average rating, which is 4.9. For most competitive markets, you want to be anywhere from like 4.8 to 5 star. And then obviously if you're in markets that deal with a lot of, unhappy customers, let's say you're in property management or house cleaning even, you can kind of expect to be a little bit lower and still be able to rank. The next is total number of reviews. So this is absolutely crucial. We're going to get into how to get more reviews later in the video, but having these super dialed in is super, super important. The last thing is just how frequently do you get reviews? So as you can see, we filtered by newest, and we can see I'm going to scroll down a bunch and we're still within a month. So this tells me this company's probably getting 15 to 25 reviews per month easily. The next section is the primary category. So you have an option to choose your primary category and then add secondary categories on your Google business profile. So let's say that you do HVAC and you do plumbing and electrical, but you have your primary category as AC repair service. Obviously, Google's going to favor you for air conditioning or AC related searches, but when you want to show up for plumbing and electrical searches, you're going to be at a disadvantage. So instead, you choose HVAC contractor because it represents your kind of wide scope of services. This is absolutely crucial. Same goes for plumbers or roofers. If you're a plumber and your primary category is handyman, you are not going to show up for plumbing searches as well as you can. And if you're a roofing company and your primary category is something like general contractor or contractor, you're going to have issues getting roofing leads because it's not roofing contractor. So the next section, and this is actually a pretty cool kind of trick here, is having a book online or reserve with Google online booking system. So they obviously use ServiceTitan. A lot of HVAC or, bigger plumbing and electrical companies also use ServiceTitan. And I would heavily recommend setting one of these up on your profile, because what it does is when I search for a company, I find their profile and then I click on here, Google can track and see, okay, people are clicking on this and people are kind of staying on their profile longer, which helps improve the what's called click-through rate, or just the amount of time people kind of actually click on your profile and spend on it. And then it trains Google's algorithm to favor this company more because people trust it. Obviously, you want to have your phone number, you want to have your hours open. You can see they're open 24 hours a day, which likely means they either have some sort of offshore virtual assistant that's picking up the phone, or they might have some sort of AI receptionist service, which I do recommend. It is kind of controversial. Some people think that all the customers hate AI services, but frankly, if you're going to miss the lead or have someone speak to AI, I'm going to choose having someone speak to AI. So the bio, you just want to have it be very straightforward. You want to have your license number. You want to have all your primary services. You can see heating and cooling, ventilation, AC, etc. Some social proof. So how long have you been around? And then kind of how to contact them. And then you can see, and we'll get into this in a little bit here, they are posting relatively consistently. It looks like once per week. And on these posts, they have a learn more button, which is super important because the way it works is in these posts, you want to have a description matching whatever button or link you put to your website. So in this case, they're talking about plumbing services, and I'm going to guess that this is about plumbing. So leak, slow drain, water heater issue, etc. They're talking about plumbing services in the post, and they're also linking to their plumbing services page. This is so important because if you use the call now button on that profile, it's not going to get you calls. Instead, what we want to do is use the learn more button to internally link to one of our website pages, which does two things. First things first, it just makes it easier to crawl for Google and understand kind of what services you have. It just kind of strengthens this post. This post strengthens the page. It's only beneficial. And then the next thing is it helps your pages stay indexed or actually showing up on Google search. So now let's talk about what a good home service website actually looks like, because the website setup is absolutely crucial. If you miss this part of the foundation work, you are going to miss out on ranking in the future. So first things first, I would give this website homepage about a 9. The reason I say that is they have all the right call now buttons. They have really big, bold schedule service and get financing buttons. They make it super simple for you to contact them, which is the most important thing. And if we actually look on the mobile version, I would like to see the call now buttons up here 100%. But this obviously brings us to a website form. So let's talk about the pages that you need on your website. First things first, you want to have a page per each main service you have. So obviously if you're an HVAC company, you're probably going to have a bunch of service pages because you do general HVAC, you have plumbing, and you have electrical. You also have related services as well as some sort of service plan. So with these service pages, you're going to want to categorize them under the kind of primary category. They do really well here. So let's just take a look at the sewer page. The reason that it's so important to have pages per each service is because if you have one general service page, Google can't really trust that page well enough to rank for any specific keywords because you don't have enough good content. Whereas with individual service pages, we can talk about every single specific part of this service, the common pain points, their service, how they actually do it, and then also like how it applies to them. And this is so crucial because if we don't have individual service pages for each service, we're probably not going to rank for any of those services. So let's talk about location pages or service area pages. So if we take a look on their homepage, they'll likely have a map down here. Yep, they have this massive section with all the links to their main location pages. So obviously you're a service area business. You want to show Google and other search engines which areas you actually service. And more importantly, you want to make one specific page for all of these. So if we take a look at the Metairie, Louisiana page, we're just going to take a look at the the SEO work here. It's okay. They have HVAC, plumbing, and electrical services in Metairie, which is okay. They do have 2 H1 tags, which is a big no-no. You only want to have 1 H1 header. So this is kind of how you optimize your location pages. You want to have 1 H1 tag with the primary service you offer. So in this case, it would just be HVAC contractor in Metairie, Louisiana. So in the city plus the state abbreviation. And then you also want to have your brand name, which they actually don't. I would recommend just putting this little dash and then having Natal's HVAC. Furthermore, you want to make sure you have a meta description, which they do. You also want to make sure that the canonical URL is self-referencing. And if you don't understand what that means, you totally don't need to. It's super simple to do this with any sort of WordPress plugin, Squarespace plugin, Wix, or Webflow plugin. You can do it pretty easily. Other than that, you do want to incorporate keywords naturally, but the way that Google's algorithm works nowadays is less about keywords and more about just having the right content. So if we have a page about HVAC services in Metairie, Louisiana, we want to talk about both Metairie, Louisiana and how our HVAC services apply to the local area, which they do have. So they have info about the location, what sort of homes there are, what sort of climate, and this is super crucial because Google looks at this and says, this page is helpful for a search about HVAC in Metairie. They understand what sort of content is helpful to people. And so this page is more likely to rank, simple as. The last critique I have is the URL is too long here. So the URL slug, there's no real like gold standard, but you want to just have it be /service areas /Metairie HVAC contractor or whatever you're trying to rank for. By the way, if you want my team to implement our full Google ranking system for you and start getting you more phone calls, book a free consultation with me at the first link in the description. But first, let's get back to the video. Week 2 is the review system. So reviews are the most important ranking factor in order to show up on Google Maps. But if you just try to blast 20 or 30 a day, Google's spam filter will be triggered and you're going to lose a lot of these reviews. This week is about setting up the right sustainable system in order to get reviews for the next couple months as well as for the next 5 to 10 years. You'll use this forever. So step 1 is to get the QR code so that people can actually scan it to leave you a review. So go to your profile, click ask for reviews, and then you'll have this QR code right here. You can actually just right click, save the image as, and then you can use this and run with it. Also, this is where you find the review link, which you'll text to people and email to people after their appointment. The most important part is training your team or your techs, whoever's out in the field talking to customers and finishing the job with them, to ask for a review in person. I know you were probably hoping there's some magical trick to get more reviews, and there really isn't. It's about training your team to ask in person, making sure it's super simple to, and then following up with email and SMS. Super simple. Just have your guys ask right at the end of the appointment or the job. Say, hey, if you were happy with service today, would you mind leaving us a review? We're just looking to get more customers in this area, and it really helps us reach more people like yourself. It only takes 20 seconds. Just scan this QR code with your phone. Asking in person typically has like 50 to 70% conversion rate, which is incredible. And even better, it has a 100% open rate, meaning that every single customer you show it to or you ask is going to actually hear you. You might get some objections. Oh, I'll do it later. Oh, just send me the link. I'll do it later. All this stuff. And you're going to have to train your guys to do a little bit of objection handling here. But having that QR code to just pass to them to scan is going to be super helpful for kind of eliminating those people that just don't feel like it. The next part of getting reviews in person is actually incentivizing your team. So there's kind of 2 main ways. The first is you can just pay your guys, not the customers, but pay your techs or whoever's in the field, 10, 15, 50 bucks, whatever, per each review they get. Option 2, which is what I like more for kind of medium to larger teams, is for each team out in the field, have them track the reviews that they get, and there are ways to do this. And then at the end of the month, you have kind of a challenge. So whichever team or whichever tech gets the most reviews gets X amount of money. Second and third place can also get a little bit. This way you can kind of have, a friendly competition amongst your techs if it's that sort of kind of work culture. So we already spoke about reviews, but to kind of just touch up on these, there's kind of 3 main factors when it comes to reviews, and that is the average rating, the total number of reviews, and then how frequently you get reviews. So go to your Google business profile, you can look at both metrics there, and then we're going to click newest, and we can see this company's getting a decent amount of reviews pretty consistently. Whereas Blue Collar NOLA with 6 reviews is getting one every 6 months, it looks like, or maybe they got 5 in a month. So when you start out, let's say you're blue collar NOLA, you're not going to want to just blast a bunch of reviews here. In fact, your primary goal here should just be to get a couple reviews a month for the first like 1 to 2 months. After that, you can slowly start scaling it up and you can start kind of hitting for, hey, you have 157, maybe you can go for like 5 to 10 a month. Once you get to that 500 to 1,000 mark and you're getting them pretty consistently, you can slowly start scaling up to, 15 to 20 a month. And we work with companies that bring in over 40 reviews a month, and it's incredible. But obviously some companies, if you're in roofing, it's going to be a lot more tricky to get reviews. I recommend trying to get reviews off of the free roofing inspections you do. Just make them super valuable and then request for a review at the end. Next step is super simple. It's just setting up an email and SMS follow-up system. So you can do this within your CRM likely. Otherwise, you can use some sort of dialing or email and SMS tool to send off these messages. You're going to want to send off an email and an SMS message after 24 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours, and then you can go up to, 126 hours or whatever. Super simple. Just include that review link. Say, hey, if you were happy with your service, it'd really help us. We'd really appreciate you leave us a nice review. Helps us find more awesome customers like yourself. Unfortunately, it is technically against TOS to offer any sort of incentives to your customers to leave you a review. There are some ways that you can increase getting reviews via email and SMS without kind of providing a direct incentive. So week 3 is activity signals. Here's the thing. You can build the foundation correctly. You can have an awesome website, your Google business profile is fully filled out, but if you're not posting consistently and showing Google you're active, you are not going to rank higher. Most of your competition probably set and forget their website and Google business profile, but there's a couple things that Google looks at to see directly how active are you on Google, and therefore how trustworthy can you be. So the first thing you want to be consistent with is actually posting from the profile. And obviously posting from the profile is not a direct ranking factor, but what it does do is it shows Google you're more active, and then it also helps with click-through rate. So if people click on your profile and then click on one of your images and look at your post for like 5 or 20 seconds, it shows Google they're spending more time on your profile, which directly does increase your rankings. So post 2 to 3 times a week and don't use the call now button, instead use the learn more button. So you can see this company, this post is about their service membership. If we click learn more, it's going to be about their service membership agreement, which is incredible. They have a video, it breaks it down, kind of why you choose the membership, all this stuff. And by linking to that page, it helps the page perform a little bit better from this post. And it also helps the page stay indexed because Google's constantly crawling these profiles. If they click on the learn more button, the crawlers will follow it to the linked website or the web page. And it kind of just helps with keeping this page on Google. I recommend posting some promotional stuff, talk about the pain points or problems they're seeing, and then have a super simple direct kind of call now or book a service CTA. So the next thing you want to do actively, and this is actually more important than posts, is responding to reviews. So Google looks at how quickly you respond to reviews and then also kind of how you actually respond to the reviews. So you want to respond to every single review, good and bad. For bad ones, try to handle it offline, make it seem like you're, taking care of it just so that other people see you kind of handle bad reviews well. And then for good reviews, thank them and then try to use your brand name as well as kind of what service you did for them. And even better, if you can kind of talk about what actual area, what part of the city, what, suburb you're in doing the service, that's super helpful. So the next section is adding photos and videos to your profile. As you can see, Nadles is adding new photos literally like every week probably. They have photos from a year ago, photos from 8 years ago, photos from 5 days ago. So they're very active in adding new photos. The types of photos you want to see are techs actually on the job doing work, maybe like before and afters of your work. Your team in the field as well is really good. So kind of seeing like some branded authority here. Looks like we got a team photo here, and then also your branded company trucks as well. So week 4 is the authority build. So these authority signals, separate from the reviews, are exactly what's going to take your company from ranking maybe 5 to 10 to that average top 3 position. So this is the week of work where most companies actually give up, but this is actually where real movement happens. I'm talking about building citations and building other types of backlinks. So for that same company, Nadles HVAC, I'm showing you exactly what citations they have. So all I did was look up Nadles HVAC, and there's better ways to see all of the citations, but you can see there's 10 plus pages of links or websites that talk about Nadles HVAC. So this is super important. Google looks at the number of citations or profiles in other online business directories you have, and companies that have, 50 to 100 profiles that all match the same name, address, and phone number are going to rank higher guaranteed. It's another way to show Google you're trustworthy. If you have profiles in all of these main business directories, as well as some more local directories, you're going to be more trustworthy to the algorithm and you're going to rank higher. So go and set up profiles in all the main business directories. You can start with the big ones like Yelp, Facebook even counts as a directory, BBB, which is really, really important. I also do recommend getting a BBB accreditation. This business doesn't have one, which I'm kind of surprised about, but I would set up a directory profile in BBB for sure. Angie's as well, even if you're not paying for leads, you can set up an organic profile and get your name, address, and phone number listed. And then also on the website, it's really important, and I didn't touch on this before, you want to have the same name, so Nadels HVAC, address, so they have their 2 addresses, and then phone numbers, which they have at the top here. This is the way that Google kind of cross-checks, okay, this business profile is the same as this website, which is also the same as these profiles, and it's absolutely crucial you have the same name, address, and phone number on all of your listings online. So try to set up the main kind of 25 to 30 big national citations, as well as start looking into some local business directories. So what I would do is just click up New Orleans local business directory. And this is the most simple way to do it. So you have New Orleans Chamber of Commerce. Definitely join this. It's probably going to be $150 to $400 per year for a backlink and a citation or a directory profile here. You have staylocal.com. You have Shop Local NOLA, which is just like a local New Orleans directory. You have all these other directories that you can kind of add your business to. I would spend this entire week literally just adding as many business profile directory listings as you can. This will just help your business get featured more and help it get trusted more. So citation links are going to help you rank in probably 95% of markets. But for markets where you need an extra boost, I would recommend reaching out to other local service companies that don't offer your same services. Ask to be a partner, then get listed on their partners page or somewhere on their website. Pretty much what that will do is they'll just link to you and say, hey, we're partnering with them. If you start bringing them jobs, kind of start referring them leads, they're going to want to do this more. You can also sponsor local volunteering events. You can sponsor local sports teams, whether it's just like Little League or any sort of lower level sports team. Obviously sponsoring, the New Orleans Pelicans is going to be a little bit more expensive than sponsoring the Little League team from, the local middle school. And then finally, you can reach out to local blogs or news sites. The goal here is to provide them an article that is actually helpful to the people in the city. So talk about your service, maybe how people can do it DIY and local tips for your actual area, given your weather, your climate, your environment. And then you're going to try to get a link from that website. So if you've applied all 4 weeks of this kind of 30-day roadmap, you are going to start ranking higher. That said, just 30 days of work is not really going to get you where you want to be in that top 3 section. In order to get in that top 3 section, you're going to need to do all of these month after month for 30, 60, 90, 120, up to 6 months in order to see really good results, and 6 to 24 months to actually dominate your local market. Ranking number 1 on Google Maps is not just about waiting around and hoping Google finds you. Just because you have a website and Google business profile does not mean that you deserve to rank at the top, get more phone calls, and actually get jobs booked from Google. Showing up at the top of Google Maps requires taking strategic actions every single week, consistently for many months on end, all with the goal of showing Google's algorithm that you are the most active, the most reputable, and the most relevant or helpful business to local searches. This 30-day plan is the exact roadmap that we do with every single company we work with and help, and this is kind of how we approach the first month of work. And others, it takes longer. It just kind of depends on your local market. But every company that follows this plan consistently for more than 3 to 6 months will see results. If you want my team to implement our full Google Maps and language model ranking system for your business and start getting you more phone calls from Google, book a free consultation with me at the first link in the description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.